There are various measures that can be used to combat inflation. Let's talk about them in this video. But before we do that, welcome back to Kano Academy. Today we'll be covering the subject of economics by discussing inflation. So, let's get started. There are a number of measures that the government and policymakers can use to fight inflation when it gets too high. In this video, we highlight 3 types of policy measures to be used to combat inflation. Let's start with fiscal measures. These are specific measures taken by the government, and particularly the Minister of Finance, regarding taxation and expenditure. These measures can include the following: an increase in direct taxation, such as personal income tax, which will help to decrease demand. An increase in indirect taxation, such as VAT, which will lead to a decrease in spending because goods become more expensive. A loan levy, which will ultimately reduce disposable income of consumers. The state could consider cutting back on expenditure by cancelling government projects like roads, hospitals, and schools. The state could also impose surcharges on imported goods. This will increase the price of these imported goods, resulting in many people being unable to afford to buy these goods. The country's reserve bank and the government can also apply certain monetary measures to curb inflation, including the following. The reserve bank can adjust the quantity of money to meet the needs of the economy through, e.g., open market policy, thus maintaining a fine balance. The reserve bank can also curb inflation caused by excess demand by reducing the money supply. The Reserve Bank can also apply moral pressure on financial institutions to be more careful when granting credit. The repo rate is another tool used by central banks to manage monetary policy and influence economic conditions. While the repo rate is primarily used to control borrowing costs and stimulate or restrict economic activity, it can indirectly impact savings as well. When the central bank increases the repo rate, it often leads to higher interest rates offered by commercial banks on savings accounts and fixed deposits. This can make saving more attractive, as individuals can earn higher returns on their savings. The prospect of earning a better interest rate can therefore encourage people to save more. Additional measures that can be taken to combat inflation include the following: increase productivity. This is a long-term measure generated through improved education and training, which allows more people to be employed and ensures they are more productive. Price control. By fixing the price of certain essential goods, the government assures they remain affordable. Wage policy. The government can also take a decision to break the inflationary spiral of increased wages and prices by keeping the increase in wages below or at the level of inflation. Stricter conditions for consumer credit. The government can also make it harder for consumers to get credit in order to restrict their spending. Encourage personal savings. As indicated previously, the government can implement measures to encourage savings, for example, by cutting taxes on savings. The imbalance between demand and supply is corrected by increased savings, as people save more and spend less. Relaxed import controls. The government and policymakers may also consider relaxing import control measures through tariff reductions, removal of import quotas, easing import restrictions, and entering into free trade agreements. Another measure to combat inflation is by using floating exchange rate. This is when prices are automatically adjusted to international conditions. Indexation. This is a policy of linking prices of items such as wages, pensions, and mortgage bond interest rates to price indices in order to eliminate the effects of inflation. Just to recap, inflation refers to a sustained and significant increase in the general price level over a period of time. This means that, on average, the prices of goods and services are rising, while the purchasing power of a unit of currency is decreasing. We also learned there are a number of measures that can be taken to combat inflation, including fiscal and monetary policy measures that the government and policy makers can use to fight inflation. We also listed other measures to be considered. To understand more on this topic, please take time to rewatch this video. We hope we were able to provide more clarity on the topic of inflation. If we have, please let us know by leaving us a comment below this video. You can also leave us a thumbs up to show your appreciation. Also make sure you like this video and take time to share and subscribe for more. Until we meet again, happy learning. From all of us at Kano Academy.
Stay creative. Stay curious. Stay connected with Kano Academy.